Welcome to How to Actually Change the World. I am Ray Pearson Men, and I know that you're probably saying somebody is missing. Yes, Darwin Fuentes is missing. I like the way I said it. Darwin Fuentes is missing today because he is a very wise man, and he thought, why not allow Ray to have a little ladies' time with our wonderful guests? Here with me today are Hannah and Emily. And your last name, tell me your last name. Puder. And you guys are alum from Regent University. I'm actually alum as well. So can you tell me what you both studied?
So we both went through the film program, and then after graduating from the film program for undergrad, we went to the law school for our master's in law.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, overachievers?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Can you tell me what your experience on Regent's campus was like?
Yeah, well, I mean, for undergrad, it was a great place to be. Like, the campus is absolutely gorgeous.
It is.
The smaller class size was really nice, and the community here is just so amazing. The professors are very knowledgeable in their content, and it was just a very positive environment. We lived on campus our whole time in undergrad. And so kind of lived, I guess you could say, in the Regent bubble.
Okay.
But, but it
Didn't drink the Regent water. We're not married.
But we lived in the Regent bubble.
Now hold up. You just told everybody at home.
That's true. That's true.
Still eligible. Are you still not drinking the Regent water? Because we do have cups.
This is true. I took a sip already. Darling.
Go ahead.
But yeah, so really great environment, just locked in. We tend to be fairly focused once we have our eyes on a goal and stuff. So we took undergrad, maybe we were in the film program.
But
Okay.
every weekend is studying to get your script better for the shoot that you're going to be doing the next week for your student project.
Okay.
So undergrad was very intense for us.
Yeah.
Just because as an artist, you're never done. You're always perfecting your crafts, which is your homework assignments. So you're studying all the time. If it wasn't your shoot, you were obligated, to help with someone else's shoot.
Absolutely.
So that they'd help on your shoot. So
I can see that.
it was intense, but we loved it. It was such a creative environment. Like you just in this a very focused time of your life where the only thing you're doing is living, eating, breathing, sleeping, film. And it was a great environment.
That sounds exciting to me.
Yes.
Because that I'm a little bit of a theater head myself, and that's what I loved, and I still do a little theater and television, of course, is my background. This podcast stuff, Darwin is stretching. Stretching me. But, I love when I meet personalities like yourself because I connect with you. We are all from that same village of performance.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you, or at least I wanted to let the folks who are watching know, you are not seeing double, folks. You are not seeing double. Hannah and Emily are twins. And so can you tell me what that experience is like being twins? And I imagine, because, from what I see, twins are very different people, but you guys have decided to bring your lives to this campus together. Tell me about that.
Well, to be honest, for us, it's people always ask, what's it like to be twins? I want to know what it's like to not be twins. I don't know. So we've always done everything together.
Okay.
So going to college, picking the same college and picking the same career route, it was just very natural because we've done everything together our whole life.
But okay, so we started Regent online, actually, as a comm major in Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
And
All
I
right.
realized, one semester in, I think it was that comm communication class where you learned 30 types of communication, and I was like, this is great. This is all theory.
Yes.
And I wanted to do something more hands-on. So we switched to the film program, which you had to be on campus for.
Okay.
And so I dragged her kicking and screaming.
I did not want to move to Virginia.
No.
What's in Virginia?
Okay, so you're not from Virginia.
No.
You're from Tampa.
Yes.
Minnesota, then
Raised in
Tampa.
Minnesota, then lived in
And
Tampa.
I think the folks at home probably heard the little Minnesota. Did I do it right?
The Minnesota.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me how to do it again.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, it's the O's and the A's, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the way it sounds. I'm gonna pick it up. I'm really listening intently. So you guys are not from here, but you were kind of drawn here.
Yes.
You want to say drawn here, but basically your steps were ordered here.
Yes.
And after you were online.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly. And so I think it was kind of the thing where because we've done so much, we had up to that point done so much together. She kind of just knew she was going to have to come with me because I was going.
Yeah, I was like, Boston's going. I don't really want to go, but
how much anxiety do you feel when you are separated and you have to do things separate?
Well, now that we're older,
branched out.
We branched out and we have separate things that we do. But just naturally, I mean, we have the same favorite foods, same favorite colors. Like so many things
same activities
are
really
exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it's just who we are.
That's amazing.
Friend for life, right?
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Like, I never have to worry about, friends come and go. She's not going.
And you don't want her to. So did you have, since you guys you said Minnesota, then Florida, then Virginia.
Yes.
Did you have the support, or did you find the support when you came here for what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I think so. Our parents, supported us back home. And then coming here, we knew some of the people from our church and from different connections that were like a year or two ahead of us here, which is one of the reasons why we toured this campus in the first place, originally. And so, but I think that's a two-sided thing because it's like you have to choose to engage.
That's true.
Like, it doesn't matter how great of support there could be available. If you're going to choose to sit in your dorm all day and just go to and from class and just sit in your dorm and do your thing, you're not going to be connected. We like to engage. We like to dig into communities. So I think that's a two-way street to say, yes, there's support, but we also chose to jump into that.
Got you.
To engage.
Okay. Now, because I'm hearing Minnesota, then Florida, then you were drawn here, then there was a time when you were in Florida and you had to look for where you were going to go for college. Right. Now, what made you zero in on Regent?
So full transparency, not a whole lot of thought actually went into our college selection process. Our parents had heard of Pat Robertson, heard they had a film school, said, hey, let's tour the campus. We toured the campus and we were like, oh, we're going here. So it was really, it wasn't
It
wasn't a complicated, it really wasn't over spiritual either. We was just like, oh, I guess we're going there. Like you just knew you were supposed to get there.
So it just felt like the step that you were supposed to take.
Yes.
And did you have family members who came to this campus as well or did online study as well?
Well, after we enrolled for the film program, we have two brothers. One is a year younger, the other is 3 years younger.
Yep.
And they both also enlisted in the film program. So all four of us were actually in a couple classes together.
Yeah.
So it was cool having four siblings on campus, all in the same program, taking classes together.
So what in the world was happening in the home that made you all gravitate towards film?
So, that's a question we get a lot because people are like, oh, there's 4 kids. You're all...
How did you all end up in film?
And the thing is, nothing of our upbringing would have hinted at that.
Really?
We grew up in Minnesota, very rural on 40 acres out in the middle of the wilderness. Town was 5 miles away. So nothing was close.
Okay.
And we barely even watched television growing up.
We didn't really watch.
Well, you were like, Robertson, he came here to do television and didn't own one.
Yeah, exactly. So nothing we didn't grow up thinking, we want to be filmmakers. I think it really started our entry level point was we were going at a church in Tampa and we had just, volunteering in a high school in the media department. That's it. I was like, okay, we got our foot in live broadcast. We found out, we have a knack for this. We really like this. And then that branched into, hey, what about narrative type stories? And, okay, we can do live broadcasts, but we don't know how to do this narrative thing. Maybe we should go to college for that.
That is super interesting. And I just feel like maybe because you were in Minnesota and you were kind of in the sticks, that you guys also entertained each other.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Our imagination was our entertainment. There was no limit to what we could imagine we wanted to do as kids because we literally lived in the middle of nowhere. But there were 5 of us in total. We have an older sister as well.
Okay.
And our mom would just say, hey, go outside. And that's what we did. Whatever our imagination came up with was what we did for the day.
Yeah,
it was great.
We'd run barefoot, and we had 3 favorite scenarios we would all play with. Cowboys and Indians. Except where we grew up, there were so many Native American tribes. You know, the cool thing was to be the Native Americans, not the cowboys.
Yeah, we want to be the cowboys.
Native American riding the horse. Yeah, leather. You know, that was cool.
Other scenario was we read these mystery series called The Boxcar Children with 4 orphans.
Yes.
So we always wanted to be orphans.
Yes. So that's
You wanted to be orphans.
We weren't orphans, but we were like, this is so cool. They solved mysteries.
Yes.
Why aren't we orphans?
And then last but not least, commandments. So we
Charlton Heston, the classic.
Okay. Yeah.
So like we just felt like we identified with those Egyptian
Slaves. When mom told you to do a chore,
and so one
you were a slave.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You're hard life.
Yes. We were making bricks without straw.
Yes.
You made bricks for fun?
Yes.
Okay. On that note, we are going to take a break. I'm going to come back and talk to Emily and Hannah a little bit more about their rough life as slaves. More on how to actually change the world when we come back. For 10 years in a row, U.S. News & World Report has ranked Regent University the #1 online bachelor's degree in Virginia. U.S. News also ranked Regent as a top national university among colleges like Harvard, Yale, and Princeton. Regent is dedicated to providing high-quality, Christ-centered education that will equip you for a lifetime of influence and impact. Learn more about Regent University at www.regent.edu. Welcome back to How to Actually Change the World. I'm your host, Ray Pearson Ben, and I want to let you know you are where you're supposed to be and you're watching How to Actually Change the World. So since you're here, like, subscribe, comment, press your notifications, become a fan because we are already fans of yours. And I have some amazing people. If you weren't here for for our lead-in, you missed it. So I'm going to tell you, take it back and watch it. But I have Hannah and I have Emily here who are both alum of Regent University, and they are very, very, very unique. They are from the film school. However, we were talking about what kind of probably graduated them to expand their talents, and childhood and being in the sticks really got them to be creative, and they created a game from off of Charlton Heston's 10 Commandments, where they enjoyed being Egyptian slaves. Yes.
It's true.
They're extremely interesting, and I love the opportunity to meet you. Now, you are both film graduates. Also, if you missed the earlier portion, they also went to get their master's in law, correct?
Correct.
But what are you guys doing with that now?
Yeah, so I'm currently a video editor.
Okay.
I do contracted work, and I have a main company that I work with primarily. But I've had so many opportunities to get on such amazing projects. And the big thing for me is, like, especially within the last 2 years, you know, with COVID and everything shutting down, a lot of jobs in the industry, you know, it wasn't a stable thing at all.
Yeah.
And so I have just been, like, God has just been so good and so faithful. And I've just had an abundance of opportunities to work on projects that really align with my worldview, that I'm able to say, okay, like, I've said no to certain projects because I can't edit something that I don't feel like aligns with my worldview. And so that just being a Christian alone eliminates a lot of job opportunities and a lot of work. But God has just been so faithful, and I've had no shortage of work and gotten to work on some really incredible projects recently. So
Wow.
very excited.
Wow. So you went into the direction of editing. So you got the same education, but did you go in the editing route?
No, I am not made to sit behind a computer in a dark den and create magic. That's what it's called. No, I kind of have two different aspects that I've explored and that I really enjoy within the film industry. The first is acting.
Okay.
So when I first graduated, I really got into a lot of acting, got an opportunity. Corbin Burnson actually did a feature film with Regent University, and I got to be one of the featured actors on that. It's actually on Amazon. on Prime. Watch it.
Let me talk through that.
How are you? So I've had some experience in acting, got into some local acting, been on some commercials. But then also my main focus in film school was film producing, hence why we got the master's degree in business law. And I work now as the senior film producer for a local company called Ironclad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all the logistics that a producer does, budgeting, contracts, all the fun stuff. The complete opposite travel, the complete opposite of acting. But both.
But you do them both.
Yeah, but those two areas really are the two that I identify that, hey, this is really my passion. And they both balance me out. I love to be creative, but I'm extremely organized. You don't normally think of creative people as organized, but they both really help balance me in art.
So would you guys say that you are a balance for each other?
No, we're both creative in our own way.
Okay.
I mean, we're definitely good for each other. Like, we're definitely a sounding board. Yeah, I would say that for sure.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm struggling with something either creatively, I'll be like, of course, you know, Hannah, take second look, or vice versa. But our personalities and our strengths are actually pretty similar.
They're very similar.
Yeah, we're both type A.
That's something. That's different.
Yeah.
That's different. Yeah. And you guys have not felt the challenge with that, but you felt really amplified for the both of for each other.
Oh, yeah. And that's a unique thing, too, because though we are so similar, we never have wanted to pursue each other's paths.
Got you.
Yeah.
We've had distinct paths. And there has been times where it's like, okay, one of us is having more success than the other, and then the tables will turn. It's not like there hasn't been that at times, but we've really had to grow and just encourage each other and mature and just realize we're both on each individual's path.
Yeah.
We're not competition.
Absolutely.
And our diversity of career pursuit lends itself to that as well.
It's just so beautiful to know that there's a place for each of us in the kingdom and that we can actually bring the gifts that we have and make them work for the Lord.
Right.
And that is the reason why he blessed us with the gift in the first place. And so I wanted to ask you, because Regent is a Christian university, you know, how did having faith and being able to grow your faith during your academic pursuit, how did that help you to move in the direction of where you are today?
I think going to a Christian university, and I tend to hone in especially on our master's degree. It was an amazing experience going to Regent School of Law. Before every law class, they do a devotional.
Okay.
And a really intentional devotional that the professors put together. And it's such a unique environment where you can grow in your faith, and you're really deciding what your worldview is. Like, that's what college is for a lot of people. You come in, you come in with, at least we did, a really solid perspective and a solid faith. But then you move outside of ideas and have to actually flesh out how that works and how you're going to operate in life, right? So not just theory anymore, but you have to actually activate and figure out what that means in application. And that's really what, by the time we got to grad school, the area and we were with our faith, that phase of life was really a fleshing out of, okay, so this is what the word says, this is what people are saying. Now I see myself, how am I going to apply that in my life? And Regent was an amazing opportunity to grow in that while you're going to college and while you're learning. It's a very important, I think, versus going to a secular university where you don't have that support and that Christian input to a worldview. And maybe you don't always agree, but at least you're thinking, right? At least you're starting to process and think of, how does my faith actually flesh out from what I know to how I'm going to apply it in life.
Exactly. Because, I mean, at least I don't want to sit there and say, this is what I believe because, I learned this as a child. At some point, there is going to be that dichotomy of this is what I learned as a child, or, if you're a new believer, this is what I read in the Bible. This is what the world actually looks like. So that element of iron sharpening iron, and being forced to say, okay, let me look critically at what I believe. I may believe I'm right in what I believe, but am I right? What does the Bible say? Does someone have a better point? Can I defend my point? If I can't defend my point, maybe it's worth re-examining what I believe. And that's a scary point that a lot of people don't want to come to. But I've come to the point where I embrace a challenge. If I can't defend what I think, because this is what we're pursuing. We're pursuing, the good, the true, the beautiful. We're pursuing truth.
Truth.
And it's like, if you really think, hopefully everyone would want to believe the truth.
Right.
Right? You would think that. You would
Mhm.
think that.
Mhm.
But then if it is truth, you should be able to rigorously defend that.
And stand in it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And so I think that whole iron sharpening iron, that, being in a class environment, being challenged by the professors to say, okay, but what does your Christian faith say about that?
Mhm.
Makes that world of a difference. If you don't place yourself in that environment, you're, a lot of, secular colleges, they need safe spaces. Their students are so protected and so sheltered, and their existence is so fragile.
Mhm.
I don't want to be fragile. I'm on a front line. I'm ready to go fight for what I believe and advance the kingdom of God.
Mhm.
And
Amen.
being in that environment really helped that.
Two warriors. And I do think that when you go to college, that is a really big deal, because it becomes not an extension of, you as the extension of your parents, and it's your parents' faith that you have embraced, but it becomes yours.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because you get to see Christ in action in your life, and he becomes your only thing you have, the most valuable thing you have, because of those moments that you have to stand. And so it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
It's a beautiful thing. I wanted to, because we are doing this where I had the blessed opportunity of having girl chat with you, but we are going to move into Darvin having some chat with you. But I wanted to take part one because, girl chat. But I did want to end our portion, our part one, by asking Hannah over this side, asking Hannah our signature question. And that is, how do you feel like you actually changed the world?
I remember back in undergrad thinking, okay, freshman year, in 3 years, I'm going to graduate and I'm going to make a difference. Then it was grad school. In 2 years, I'm going to graduate. I'm going to finally be able to have a sphere of influence and make a difference. Then it was the next job. I was working freelancing on sets. The next job, the next gig, the next opportunity will be when I finally can make a difference in the world. And I was actually just thinking about this the other day, and you begin to realize this idea of changing the world is so, in a way, almost futuristic. It seems impossible, right? So intangible. Like changing the world, what does that mean? When it comes down to it, it reminds me of the verse in Isaiah 6:8, where it says, I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send and who will go for us? And I said, here I am, send me. But the precursor to Isaiah being able to say that is he said, Lord, I'm unclean, cleanse me. It's this process of living ready, yes, for the calling, but being active and preparing yourself daily for when the Lord hands you assignment, you can say, yes, sir, I'm ready. Not only in your spiritual walk with the Lord and continually preparing yourself spiritually, not to activate where you're at, but also activate in the future, but working on your skills as an individual. For us as filmmakers, we're constantly working on our craft to do well where we're at, to be faithful with where we're at, and realizing the decisions and the people we interact with now is changing the world. The little steps, the changes that you make now, you're not going to suddenly just change the world one day. It's all that progressive step moving forward. And I like to call it living in the ready.
Living in the ready.
Living prepared, but also still activating and staying engaged. You can either be reactive or proactive. And you want to be proactive. You want to be preparing yourself now, but also engaging now, engaging in your sphere of influence. For us, it happens to be film. That's our media. But anyone can engage wherever they're at now. And that is changing the world.
Changing the world every single moment of every single day.
Yeah.
And what you do living for Christ. I love it. I absolutely love it. It was a joy chatting with the both of you. And I really wish that I could do part two. But I'm going to share the two of you with Darvin. But thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you
for letting me get to know you. And thank you so much for tuning in to How to Actually Change the World. Next time you get to find out more on part two with Hannah and Emily from Darvin Fuentes. You have a wonderful day.